What is up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast.
What do you mean, welcome back? This is our first podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to our first podcast. Okay, so.
Okay.
Dude, stop.
Are you gonna say?
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Welcome to our podcast, The Strength Paradigm. Fuck, is that? I think that's good enough, right? We're still fucking playing with guitar, man. Yeah. Well, you wrote a fucking intro jingle. Hi guys, welcome to our new podcast, The Strength Paradigm. In this podcast, we want to focus on everything to getting stronger in a physical sense and in life. The name of the podcast means we are focused on providing the newest data in becoming strong and resilient, along with our own lived anecdotes. And we have a focus on power building because that's what we're good at. My name is Josh. I'm a graduated master's student in manufacture of gene therapies, and my co-host is my brother Jaron. We're both strength coaches who want to provide you with the best information you can, just get better, like we all want to.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yo, what a fucking intro.
Okay, let's start.
So today on our first podcast, we'll be discussing kind of supplement-based performance enhancement. We are talking about the performance enhancing supplements that you can take to help you progress fast in the gym. You know, we all know the obvious things, right? You should sleep more, eat more, drink more, okay? But beyond that, right? We're talking about the supplements that will help you perform better in the gym, or at least kind of categorically, I've separated it as supplements that help you focus and reach high levels of intensity and kind of confidence in the gym. Supplements that can help you boost recovery, okay? And then I guess on the third bit, maybe a bit more of a kind of grey area, we're not talking about supplements anymore, but sort of practices that can improve performance and recovery. So I guess let's dive into our first category, right? Supplements that can help you focus and reach high levels of intensity, right?
Yeah.
For you, what comes to mind?
I mean, personally, I did took some beta-alanine.
Beta-alanine, classic.
Alanine or
tingles.
Yeah. Oh shit! I put it down as beta-analine, dude.
Beta-analine.
Wait, it's beta.
They should rename it that.
Yeah. Beta-alanine. Yeah. Like personally, it was pretty good actually. I felt like, my sets were a lot better. As in, I felt more of the muscle contraction. There was better mind-muscle connection,
So do you think that is because of kind of a direct effect of beta-alanine in that it is allowing you to connect with the muscle? Or do you think that is a byproduct of beta-alanine's lactate buffering effect in that it allows you to feel less tired, so you're able to focus on contracting the muscle better?
No, I think the latter, because of that tingling sensation, right? So
yeah,
I think that combined with, that is the byproduct of the lactic acid buffering.
Yeah.
So
it's a histamine response.
Yes, and because of that, I think it felt like my muscles were fuller. It felt like every time I contracted, there was way more tension.
So do you think that kind of tingling gave you a bit more proprioception? You were able to concentrate on that muscle better, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I think when you bring that up, it's similar to how bodybuilders in the gym like to have someone fondle their biceps as they're curling. Just like someone's like, whoa,
Yeah.
That's cool. That's what it is, I think. Yeah.
Performance-wise, how they say beta-alanine helps with, it's more of a muscle endurance type thing. It helps with aerobic exercise. I didn't see that, to be fair. My boxing match.
You do aerobic exercise. Okay, yeah.
My boxing match, dude, that was hardcore, kind of aerobic / anaerobic, but that shit didn't help, man. My fingers were like.
What do you mean? What was your dosage? 20 grams?
20, around 15 or 20. I
Fair
forgot.
enough.
Is that 3? Yeah.
But then also you're in a new your boxing match. For people who don't know, right? Jaron had a boxing match. Was like a white collar boxing match.
Yeah, ultra white collar.
3-4 months ago.
For
ultra white collar.
Ultra white collar for it was for cancer research.
Yeah, for cancer research. So commend him for that. But yeah, but I think beta alanine. I think in my experience, I have never enjoyed beta alanine. Okay.
Why?
And that's because I think that tingling effect is just a bit too uncomfortable.
How you?
Like I take 5 grams, okay?
Yeah.
And my whole body feels like there's ants. There's ants crawling everywhere.
Crawl really? Like
yeah.
But then
genuinely.
over time, yeah. In the beginning, it's pretty bad, but then over time, like you get used to it.
Now, but it throws me off. It throws me off a lot. I need to kind of be in that zone, okay? And kind of being in that zone, I guess that brings us to a next sort of supplement that I want to talk about, right? Caffeine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Not really like a grey area supplement. Everyone knows what caffeine is, right? It's in your Coca-Cola to energy drinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that with kind of caffeine stimulant based sort of supplement, right? What it does is just it prevents you from feeling tired, by blocking your adenosine receptors.
Yeah.
And it increases the amount of cortisol in your body and adrenaline in your body, right? One of the reasons why you feel so kind of on edge, panicky when you're at high doses, okay? And so I guess with caffeine, right? What's your experience with caffeine?
Well, in the beginning,
what sort of, yeah.
Yeah, when I first started training, caffeine was all right. Fucking Monster all the time, every day. But
yeah, of course.
Now I can't even drink coffee because I get headaches at the end. It's that down period, and I don't even enjoy like this insane high period where I get like, oh fuck, I'm super focused or like I feel energized. I don't even get that anymore. So
damn, that's a shame.
Yeah, bad genetics.
I think that might be like what pharmacologists call tachyphylaxis. So
what the hell is that?
Just means you grew accustomed to it. You grew a tolerance to it, man, and your tolerance never came back down.
Yeah, you think it would, right?
But you think it would, right? I mean, how long are you usually off caffeine for?
Well, I mean, I kind of do like a yo-yo thing. So like I drink caffeine for like a period of time, and then I'm off for it for like a month. I don't touch it at all. Now I've started again, and then I'm fucked. I can't drink at all. Like the headaches just keep coming on. So
and I think
that's
with the headache thing, right? Do you think it is because of a kind of dehydrated state you get into when you're on caffeine?
Not really.
My right now, my sort of protocol for caffeine usage is I pretty much take caffeine every day.
Yeah.
But on kind of non-heavy days in the gym, basically 5 to 6 days a week, I only take like 1 Nespresso pod. Those little like caffeine pods that you use to make coffee with, and that's all I have the whole day. I make that cup of coffee just like with as much water as I can, and then I just sip that throughout the day, just so that I can have that little steady drip, and it's not me suddenly coming off, because then that's when I get the headache. And then when I have a heavy day, I up my dosage. So that little Nespresso pod is about 80 milligrams of caffeine.
Wait,
60 to 80 milligrams.
When do you get your headaches?
If I come off caffeine.
Once you come off.
Sudden, cold turkey.
During a day or a day that you don't take caffeine?
So I've tried coming off caffeine in the past, where let's say it'd be 3 days where I just planned, okay, no caffeine, cold turkey. I'm going to drink as much water and just muscle through. The first day is fine. I feel all right. Maybe a bit drowsy, but I take a nap and it's all right.
Yeah.
And the second day, that's when I start getting the caffeine sort of withdrawal, right? Like, I get to work, and then let's say 10 o'clock comes around. That's when the crankiness sets in.
Jeez.
And then it just continues throughout the rest of the day. No amount of drinking water and electrolytes helps.
Yeah. That's terrible, man. That's terrible.
Oh, I agree, man. And then what was it?
But that's because caffeine restricts like blood flow to the brain.
Yeah. It causes vascular constriction. So yeah. Which is also why caffeine is used for like treating migraines as well, as a little bit for treating migraines, because there's a category of belief where migraines are caused by blood, vessels that expand all of a sudden, causing more pressure, and then hence the pain. But what do you call? I digress. So
Yeah.
on the third day, I'm pretty much back to feeling normal, bit drowsy. I take like a long ass nap in the afternoon, and I'm fine. And then kind of beyond that, then I just go off caffeine and it's fine.
Yeah.
But right now, kind of when I'm trying to augment my performance in the gym and just really trying to hit that maybe above 93% of my 1 rep max, right?
Yeah.
I'd say I take 450 to 500 milligrams. So that's like
Jeez.
4 times what I usually take
Yeah.
on a daily basis. And I find that that's a very good way to manage my caffeine intake, because it's what I guess psychologists call chronological self-binding, where you only allow yourself to take a specific substance under very specific circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's something I took from like addiction help, you know? Because let's be honest, right? No, let's be honest, right? Caffeine is very
addictive, yeah.
But I think regardless, right, you know, that 450 to 500 milligram dosage allows me to get into that flow state like that. Like, you know, after I've done my warm-ups, I'm in the zone. I don't need earphones. In fact, I feel like I perform better without earphones.
Yeah.
You know, my force output is higher, I'm more explosive. You know, I can hit everything just a bit better, right?
Yeah, but I mean, don't you have like that little inkling feeling in the back of your head where it's like, oh shit, I'm dependent on this thing?
Well, of course, absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree. You know, there is that there. But when you're in the gym and you're in the flow state, right, where you're just hitting weights, right, you put that shit away. You compartmentalize, put it away, okay? And you just focus on hitting the weight. Like, that's all you do. Maybe afterwards you can reflect on it. But in the gym, right, just good practice. You shouldn't be thinking about anything else. You shouldn't be checking your messages. All you should be doing is just focus on hitting the weight, okay? Everything with intention. Everything with maximal effort. Even the back off sets, you know? And, like, sure, afterwards when I'm writing in my lifting journal what I did well, you know, thoughts and stuff, sure, these things can come to light, right?
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, you are still the one lifting the weight. Sure, your performance is augmented a little bit by that, but then at the same time, any other type of supplement, creatine, beta alanine, right? All these things are in a way.
Yeah, they help. Yeah, yeah. True.
I think.
True. No,
Is
but
this
I think
topic of
it's
relevance?
no. I think it's because of the addictive effects of caffeine. I would not be like comfortable being like, oh shit, I have to take my caffeine fix today in order to like function or like in order to stay focused.
Fair enough. No, I think that's good, right? I think you having that barrier for yourself is very good, because I think most people don't have that, right? Like, even I struggle with this caffeine thing from time to time.
Yeah,
I had a couple of matcha
bitch.
this morning, right? I had a couple of matcha this morning, okay? You know, just a bit of green tea, help take the edge off, okay? But I think the difference between like having a dependency on it and just enjoying it, okay, is when it impairs your daily functioning. Right? When you're taking so much caffeine just to feel normal, okay, and this level of caffeine is above what I guess doctors would recommend.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean that's the same thing, I guess, when we look at nicotine.
Yeah.
The same
absolutely.
shit. Yeah. I mean,
but then, nicotine, right? It has a similar sort of mechanism, well, not similar, but the mechanism of nicotine is slightly different, right?
Yeah.
It stimulates the release of dopamine and adrenaline, or norepinephrine, technically.
Yeah.
And again, it helps you get into the flow state. You know, I guess that's funny you mentioned that, because I actually used to stack nicotine pouches with caffeine. Yeah, man. When I was writing my dissertation,
Jesus Christ. Okay.
no,
yeah.
when I was writing my dissertation, that's what I did, okay? But only under the circumstances where I was writing my dissertation. You know, we're talking crunch time, a month before it was due, right? It wasn't even like, what was it? I mean, I had a massive ass dissertation to write, so fair enough, okay?
Yeah.
Like, in order to make sure I wouldn't get addicted to it, I made sure that I only took it when I had work to do.
Mate,
Does that make sense?
You're supplement junkie, bro.
Yeah, supplement junkie. Nah, yeah, that's my only issue. Okay, but I think the issue was that I Pavlov dogged myself.
Oh,
right?
what? Okay.
Like, I convinced myself that I liked work, but what I really liked was the feeling of the dopamine rush. Because like, as a result of the caffeine being paired with the nicotine, okay?
Yeah.
Because these two have like a synergistic effect, right? They make you feel, number one, dialed in, like dialed the fuck in, okay?
Sure, okay.
And nicotine makes you just
That's weird though, because
what do you mean?
like Nick's supposed to, elevate levels of cortisol.
Yeah. I mean, no, a lot of stimulant based, I guess, supplements elevate cortisol.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of training wise, that might be good. Right? You might have like, oh, you feel riled up and shit. And I guess like for your work, you feel like, oh yeah, I need to do some fucking work right now.
Yeah.
Some shit, right?
It's not necessarily a bad thing though, because if you look at, have you read Flow by Mihaly something?
Oh yeah.
Something, man. Yeah, that dude.
Fuck, what's his name?
Mihaly something, okay?
Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi.
He states that in order to get into flow state, right? It is a mixture of, number one, having a challenge in front of you, okay?
Yeah.
That is challenging enough, right?
Yeah.
And the second part of that is it also has to be kind of pleasurable as well, right?
Sure, yes.
So these two things combined create that perfect kind of
balance,
these perfect conditions for that.
Yeah.
Right? Because the challenge, okay, your body doesn't perceive challenge as the way you mentally perceive it, right? You mentally perceive it as, okay, this is something I need to do. It might be a little hard.
Yeah.
But the way your body perceives it, okay, the way the receptors in your body perceive it is through cortisol, right? Cortisol is the stress hormone, okay?
Yes.
And on the other hand, the pleasure part, right? Okay, it's dopamine. Dopamine is what causes you to seek pleasure. And if we can, like, elevate these two kind of, what do you call it?
These signalers.
Yeah, these signalers, okay, in your body, right? Then you can tap into flow state like that, and that's exactly what I did. Like, what I used to do was I had this protocol. Now, I'm not recommending anyone try this, okay? It's pretty fucking stupid, okay? Like, I do not recommend it, okay? You know those Arctic pouches? I don't remember, man.
The Nick pouches?
Nicotine pouches.
Yeah,
Nick pouches. Right, I had one that was like 4 milligrams, okay? No, I had a 3 milligram one, yeah.
Yeah.
And what I do is I'd have a cup of coffee, I drink half of that, and then I take a Nick pouch and I put it in my mouth for exactly 30 seconds, okay?
Right.
Put that shit down, I'd have a cup of water, okay? Then I'd work, okay? 1 hour comes up, okay? And I feel the effects like just starting to die down a little bit. You know?
Okay.
They're just, as in 1 hour after I feel the effects come on, okay? Then I finish the cup of coffee, do the other Nick pouch, and I do another 2 hours of work, okay? Then by then I'm getting a pretty good buzz on, okay? Takes about 1.5 to 2 hours before that dies down, and then I re-up everything and I repeat. And I did this for like 8 hours.
Sure, okay. Like going back to the flow state thing, how important do you think entering that flow state is in terms of like when you're hitting the gym?
Ooh. I mean, in my past experience, I think flow state in the gym is different to flow state when you're doing sedentary mental work.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
That's and the reason I say that is because, deep work requires a lot of mental stimulation. Like you are kind of, Limitless, Bradley Cooper. He's just like, oh my god, this bit. All these informations. I learned this from a textbook 10 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what you're trying to replicate when you're doing kind of mental load, heavy work. Okay, heavy mental load work. But in the gym, that mental load just isn't really there, right? Like, we're not talking, you don't need to fucking calculate, the trajectory of some fucking rock being thrown from 10 miles away, landing in a fucking pond 20 miles away, okay? You don't need to figure out that, you just literally, bending down, okay, and grabbing a bar, picking it up, okay? Like, how much thought needs to go into there, okay? The focus, I think, there is shifted to just being in the moment, being present with that bar, okay? And instead of focusing on the specific state of your body, you're just focusing on doing one physical movement many times, right? And you need to be able to switch that on and off many, many times during a workout, right? Because if you maintain the same level of kind of stimulation, right, mental stimulation throughout the entire workout, right, during a set, between a set, into a set again, okay, you're not able to figure out when you've actually recovered, okay, between sets.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense?
Okay.
Like there's still a lot of signaling in your body which is like fight or flight. You're trying to maintain that same level of intensity, okay, of like, holy fuck, I'm fucking, I'm the badass in this gym. Like, there's always that one guy who in the gym who like does a set of deadlifts and he starts walking around like hyping himself up to do the second deadlift, okay, like, and then a minute later he comes in and does that again. I don't think that's a good way to go about it. I don't think you can hit that next set of deadlifts with the same amount of intensity as the first deadlift if you do that, because you have like a limited amount of mental capacity to allow you to focus on hitting that deadlift.
Yeah. Wait, then I mean,
or whatever set.
Yeah, I mean another question, like, then what do you think about hyping yourself up before a lift? This is like in a, again, power building context, right?
Yeah, of course.
Hyping
yourself up.
It's necessary, right? But then in the long run, if you keep doing that, you lead to injuries and shit.
I mean, not necessarily though, right? Like hyping yourself up is one small element of a lift to get you in the right kind of mental state of it. A lot of people use that as a pre-lift ritual. I personally don't hype myself up for a lift. Okay, I don't think I need it. Again, it depends on the mentality of the person, right? If you feel like you need it, it's very hard to say whether that's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Okay, I think for me, I find focusing on a very specific cue in a lift, right, helps me better than being like, I'm gonna fucking kill this lift.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the big three lifts, okay?
Yeah.
If we're talking about, like, let's say specifically for hypertrophy, where I'm doing like machine presses, okay, machine chest presses, where the risk of injury is low and I'm trying to go for a high rep set, then digging into those depths of intensity I think is worthwhile, because it is, like, let's be honest, it is difficult to, I think it's more difficult to hit a set of 25 reps at an RPE 10 than it is to hit a single rep at an RPE 10.
Of course, definitely, yeah.
Right, like, the mental load is so much higher with the RPE 10 at 25 reps than RPE 10 at 1 rep.
Yeah.
Right? Just the duration in which you need to maintain that level of focus is a lot higher, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think that hype is necessary for that. But then the hype, I think, when you're doing that 25 reps, comes in around the middle of that set, okay? Where you're like,
you're trying to start the grind.
I'm summoning fucking demons right now, okay? I'm gonna fucking summon my fucking Chinese warrior fucking ancestors, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Maybe a bit more badass than that, bro. That's just some Western.
I don't have some.
It's turning into a fucking Joe Rogan podcast, dude.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Dude, DMT. No, man, but okay, so no, let's move on a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to talk about is yohimbine. Okay. So this is, I think less of a well-known drug, or not drug, supplement. Okay, sorry, Jesus, not drug.
Dude, it's natural, man.
All we're talking about is supplements.
It's natural, bro.
Dude. It comes from tree barks.
Yeah.
Dude. It actually comes from tree barks. They harvest it and I forgot which tree, but it comes from a tree bark. And
a special type of tree.
Special type of tree, man. And it blocks the alpha-2 adrenergic receptors. Okay.
Right.
So what it does is it causes the release of norepinephrine, so adrenaline, okay?
Yeah.
I've used it in the past, less specifically. What?
You had issues in the bedroom?
It also helps with libido, okay?
Yeah.
That's one thing, okay?
No.
And
it's for erectile dysfunction, man.
People have used it for erectile dysfunction, but I'll be honest, okay? Honestly, just take Viagra if you want to help your erectile dysfunction, right? I'll be honest. I after taking yohimbine, I can guarantee you, I never popped a stiffy when I was on the Stairmaster doing my 40 minutes. Okay, but that was the only time I've used. Okay?
Wait, speaking of which, I've actually
what?
That happened while I was, no, I'm not a stairmaster. Not on the stairmaster. While I was rowing.
Rowing.
Like on the row
That's
machine.
odd.
Because I was taking copious amounts of the aspartic acid, man.
Viagra.
No, not Viagra. Yeah, the aspartic acid.
Cialis, you know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The aspartic acid is a hell of a good one. But wait, back to yohimbine. Move on to the aspartic acid a little bit.
Yeah.
So yohimbine, right? You know, it's an energy. I guess it's an energy enhancer. Some people use it as a way to boost their libido. Some people use it as a way to suppress the appetite.
Help you lose weight and stuff.
Yeah, so I use it specifically during kind of a cutting phase. You know, that was when I went from 95 kilograms to 77 kilograms in like 3 months.
Yeah,
you know, it's pretty stupid to like. Number one, I don't recommend anyone doing as drastic of a cut like that in 3 months. It's disgusting, and I'll tell you why in a bit. So with kind of yohimbine, I was doing about 200 milligrams a day. Okay, I went from 50 milligrams, tapered up to 100, 150, then 200 by the end of it. Okay,
yeah,
it's actually not that high of a dose if you look at the studies. You know, in some studies they push people up to 400 milligrams. Okay, but regardless, as I was tapering up, I was fine. Okay, it was once I hit that 200 milligram a day. Okay, I felt a lot of energy in the morning when I was doing my kind of fasted cardio. Yes, this was kind of in what, like 2019, right?
Yeah.
You know, fasted cardio, the kind of golden age of, I'd say, online fitness influencers, right? Where fasted cardio was a thing. You know, like Jeff Nippard was just starting to get big. You know, we're talking about like Rob Lipsett, all these people, like Ziz, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Ziz was ages ago, but, you know, still. I was taking 200 milligrams of yohimbine a day, doing 40 minutes of fasted cardio, and then I was in a calorie deficit of about 700 calories, okay? Stupid as hell. Never do that, okay? It was really good for 2 weeks because I didn't feel any hunger, okay? And the fat literally melted off me. Like, I'm talking... almost a kilogram a week. A kilogram a week I was losing.
Jeez.
Like, I'd wake up every morning
Yeah.
and I'd go from like fucking 82 to 81.5 in one day.
Yeah.
And it was consistent. And then 81.5 to 81, okay?
Yeah.
And then 81 to like fucking, you know, 80.5, okay? And we're talking like half kilogram increments per day. Like, when you're talking about progress that fast, okay, it's hard not to be like, oh my god, this is a great thing, okay? But now here's why it was terrible, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, duh. But here's why it was a dumb ass idea to do, okay? Because similar to other kind of stimulants, bear in mind I was taking caffeine as well, okay? Similar to other stimulants, yohimbine also causes a huge release of cortisol, okay? And my cortisol was like disgustingly elevated, like day in and day out. Not only because of the yohimbine, but because of the massive caloric deficit I was in.
Yeah.
Right, you know, when you're in that much caloric deficit, your body is unable to regulate hormones as well as it could. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially when you've dropped weight that quickly. Okay, homeostasis is out of fucking whack. And so, after those 2 weeks, right, I started feeling so nauseous. You know, I was anxious. I was cold. Like, I'm talking, I was sitting in an unheated lecture hall in like January. Okay, like the middle of January when outside was like 0 degrees. Okay, inside was 0 degrees. I was sweating through a t-shirt and a grey hoodie. You know, they're like not even thick grey hoodies, they're pretty thin grey hoodies, and I had pit stains that were like just like covered my entire
cold sweats.
Cold sweats, yeah.
That's
bad,
fucked, man.
Yeah, and I persisted for 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, this will be fine. But yeah, and I was like, yeah, nah, so fuck this. Because then one night I was in my dorm and I was just lying there and I just couldn't sleep. I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. Now, whether that was an artifact of my massive caloric deficit causing my body a ton of stress, or the yohimbine, you know, which is causing more of that, we'll never know. Okay, but I do believe that yohimbine, okay, allowing me to sustain that massive caloric deficit, right? Like there's that synergistic effect, okay, along with the cortisol that's being blasted through the roof of my body.
I mean, that's that's terrible for cutting, like all that muscle just goes, man. Dude, cortisol levels.
I agree.
You don't like you can't build anymore. Oh, definitely, and even maintaining that muscle mass is fucked.
I managed to maintain 90, I think 5 to 6% of my 1 rep max on my bench and squat throughout that process.
So strength is okay, yeah.
Strength was all right, okay, but I think that was like sheer force of will, though. You know, that was just because in my mind, okay, before every gym session, I literally just like sit outside the gym for 10 minutes, just like visualizing. I know it's stupid, but that's the level of intensity I took. Like that's how serious I took gym back then.
Yeah,
that was like my life, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that was in terms of Yohimbine, whether I think you should use it or not. I would say no, you know, unless you want to compete in like bodybuilding competitions, because I think not that I messed up permanently because of it. It's just that it's not a very pleasant experience, you know, on it, right?
Well, I mean,
I'd say rely on caffeine and nicotine sparingly as a way to suppress your appetite than Yohimbine.
Right. You think Yohimbine's too powerful?
I think my memory is marred by the fact that I had a bad experience on it.
Right.
I'm certain that there are a lot of people who have great experiences on Yohimbine who didn't do as dumb of a fucking thing that I did, okay?
Yeah.
And as such, they would most likely recommend Yohimbine. Like, you know, more plates, more dates. He recommends Yohimbine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean,
So,
but there are no studies on like long-term effects of Yohimbine.
Well, the thing is, I don't think anyone's taking Yohimbine long-term, though. You know, I don't think anyone's taking Yohimbine daily.
No. As in, like, maybe some, like, super fat motherfucker is like, yo, I need to get in shape quick.
I'm getting married in 6 months' time.
Or maybe not. He's like, oh, I'm thinking of getting married in, like, the next 10 years. I need to get a girlfriend.
Yeah, but if you've got 10 years, right? If you're talking about a 10-year timeline, you know, you get fit, relatively fit in 2 years.
Sure, but then he has, like, the weakest willpower. So, and then he takes Yohimbine, maybe like...
No, but Yohimbine isn't going to help if that is the case, though. If you have a weak willpower, it's not going to help. Like, it can help with appetite suppressant in that it makes you feel less hungry, okay?
Yeah.
But if you get to that state where you are so obese, okay, like you're on a borderline food addiction, you know, and addictions aren't caused by, addictions can be helped by, you know, blocking.
Yeah, definitely.
Impulse,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you look at a lot of studies on addiction, okay, or some studies on addiction, they think that there's sort of an alternate brain pathway that causes it, okay? It's no longer the pleasure of it, because when you become addicted to something, you're not doing it for the pleasure anymore. You're doing it to feel normal, okay?
At a certain stage of addiction, yes.
Yeah, so like, what was it? I don't remember what it was, but I think that there was a drug developed, maybe naltrexone or something. What it does is it basically blocks the opioid receptors in your brain, so you don't feel kind of that euphoric, pleasurable effects if you're on opioids anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. And so heroin, being one of the strongest opioids, the doctors prescribed it for that. Okay. But the issue was people who took naltrexone still shot up. Okay.
Okay.
And they shot up not because of the pleasurable effects, but because there's other things in life that need to be addressed, right? Like it's not the drug itself. I don't think is a problem. I think there's a lot more to someone's addiction than just the drug itself. You know. Of course, with severely addicted people, that's a different case.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert in this, so you know, don't think that I'm correct. I've just been
read
a few studies. What can I say?
Fucking PhD in addiction, dude.
Yeah, no, PhD in reading studies, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be on my doctorate. Dr. Joshua Young, PhD, reading studies. Yeah.
Wait. Back to the fat guy.
Yeah.
Can't you just like microdose your Yohimbine?
Bro, but then if you're microdosing it, you're not getting the benefits.
The full benefit.
Yeah. But like, what I'm saying is the byproducts of your Yohimbine, the nausea, right, the anxiety, is actually just its actual effects, right? But taken to one end of the spectrum. Okay? Because nausea is just the extreme end of appetite suppression. Okay?
Yeah.
Anxiety is just the extreme end of kind of the energy enhancement.
Sure, yeah. Then just take it in moderation.
Yeah, sure. I think that is a good idea, right? I was an idiot. I didn't take it in moderation.
Yeah.
But the thing is, here's the thing, right? When you become obsessed, like, with something, right, in a way which is like, I need to get this fucking fat off me, you'll do everything you can to do so. That's when you start tapering up that dosage, okay, from 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams, 100 milligrams to 150, then 150 to 200, right? I'm not saying everyone's going to end up there, right? But like when that 50 milligrams doesn't feel like it initially does, you'll be asking for that 100.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and it gets progressively harder as you cut, as you lose more body fat. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
It's better to build that up from a state of what do you call it?
From a more
Building
natural
up your mental
state.
fortitude and your grit than it is to rely on that. Like I agree with that. I don't think there's any sort of like reliance on supplements is a bad thing, but yeah. Yeah. So out of the three, right? Let's say caffeine, nicotine, yohimbine, right?
Which one would I?
Right?
Yeah.
Which one is your kind of like, if you'd recommend it, your training was like, I feel fucking exhausted. I sleep like 8 to 9 hours. What should I do? Of course, the first thing you'd be like, go see a fucking doctor. You probably have narcolepsy.
Undiagnosed, yeah.
But let's say your
So I have a client coming to me with, I mean, caffeine is the go-to because the side effects were not as bad for me for caffeine compared to well, I haven't tried your Himbine, but nicotine, I don't think I recommend it to anyone at all. Like,
fair enough. I think nicotine as a kind of sports performance enhancer is not great. I don't feel that much of a benefit with nicotine in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think it stimulates mental performance rather than kind of physical performance. Whereas caffeine, it blocks you from feeling tired at all, which is why it works so well.
And it's
like a pain relief aspect to it.
Yeah, and it's so popular. There's a reason why it's so popular, and there's a reason why it's used in so many pre-workouts. Like, because it works and it works well.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like for trained athletes, I think caffeine gives them that better, like there's more benefit for trained athletes compared to like people that have just started in terms of like their training.
They're not desensitized to it, right?
Yes, yeah. So because if you start training, you don't need that level of intensity yet. Only when you like get to those advanced upper intermediate levels of training where you start needing that slight edge, I think that's where caffeine can really help you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think that's why a lot of like powerlifters, right? Kind of some of my trainees, what I've recommended before a competition, maybe 2 to 3 weeks out, so kind of during that tapering peaking phase, I actually recommend to come off caffeine as well, right?
Right,
so we can allow them to become sensitized for caffeine on the day of competition. Otherwise, because I see a lot of people at the gym, they're dry scooping fucking 2 scoops of pre-workout, which is double the dose. We're talking like 400 milligrams on the daily, okay? And if you're calling that not a reliance, I think that is not I think you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself, right? 400 milligrams is the upper limit of what is relatively safe, okay? Of course, there's the body weight aspect to it, but we'll forget about that for a minute, okay? And I think doing that allows someone to just eke out that little bit of extra performance on the day, really, like maybe 2 to 3%. And that's what I think will really help. But yeah, so let's move on a little bit.
Okay.
So next category, we talk about supplements that help boost performance kind of acutely in the gym. But the other aspect of performance is recovery. Okay, so supplements to help boost recovery. Beyond whey protein, beyond creatine, right? What have you experimented with?
To be fair, nothing. Not really. Not a lot. Like, I like to keep it very simple.
Wait, that's good. That's
literally like.
What about D-aspartic acid? D-aspartic acid. I would categorize that as a kind of supplement
recovery
that
thing.
Will help.
What, because of like the test boost effects of it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I actually think it helped with performance instead of recovery. Performance because of like the mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
Where I get a bit more irritable. Maybe it's placebo, but I don't know. Every time I take it, I feel like I'm going through puberty again or some shit.
No, I think I get it because what was it with D-aspartic acid? I got those kind of similar effects, right? I got irritable, I got more kind of, I wouldn't say roid rage, right? It's not roid rage per se, right? But it's more sort of, you have this pressure inside of you, okay?
Yeah.
Where I felt like the only way to let it off, okay, was either in the gym, okay, or the other way.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's going to feed into one of our other later kind of practices, right? But I think with D-aspartic acid, right, I actually got my bloods tested before D-aspartic acid.
Okay.
And after D-aspartic acid, okay?
Yeah.
And so kind of before D-aspartic acid, my testosterone was 700-ish nanograms per deciliter, okay?
Okay, yeah, in your blood, yeah, okay.
In my blood, okay? I don't remember exactly what the free test and the bound test was, okay? But I just remember it was 700, okay? And then after D-aspartic acid for about 8 weeks, okay? This was 8 weeks taking 4 capsules. I don't remember what dosage is. Give me a sec. 4 capsules. What's that? 750 mgs times that by 4. Like 3 point. I don't know, 6, 7.
300,
grams.
right? 3,000.
Yeah, something like that. About 3,000 something milligrams. Okay.
Wait, but then
which was like
go on first.
Yeah, 3 grams and a bit of D-aspartic acid for 8 weeks every day religiously. Okay. I checked my testosterone afterwards, and it was 900 nanograms per deciliter. That's a 200 nanogram per deciliter gain. Okay. Now there are people out there that believe that that is not enough for a performance enhancement.
Yeah.
Okay. In that it doesn't confer the benefits of, like, let's say TRT, where you're boosting you're taking 500 milligrams of test per week. Okay. It's not 500 milligrams, of course. It's a lot less than that, but still. And I am inclined to disagree because I actually went into D-aspartic acid being skeptical about it. Okay. I had read a couple studies stating that D-aspartic acid typically only works in hypogonadal men.
Okay.
Along with kind of men past the age of 55 to 60. Now, am I hypogonadal, okay, and past the age of 55 to 60? Maybe it's possible, okay?
Half
70
true,
nanograms
bro.
per deciliters. Yeah, who knows? Just like little ass nuts. But yeah, so no, about 700 nanograms per deciliter, that technically doesn't classify as hypogonadal. Okay, it's actually well within the normal range, thankfully. But at 900, that's when I'm pushing kind of that like upper limit of natural kind of testosterone. What do you call it? Like upper reference range of testosterone. And so I think that definitely conferred a benefit. Okay, because strangely enough, I actually felt like I slept better at night. Now, is that an effect of the D-aspartic acid? Okay. I'm not sure. I'll be honest. But I definitely performed really well. Like, remember when I was in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
And I got basically in the best shape I ever, like,
You ever
been,
were.
okay?
Yeah.
I was like jacked. My delts were like capped. We can show a photo on the screen.
Yeah.
Like right now. But that was not like. I definitely think that D-aspartic acid helped with that. Okay.
I mean, wait, how so? Like, I mean, specifically in the gym, or is it recovery, or is it?
It helped with recovery because number one, I slept better. Okay?
Yeah.
And number two, I could hit these pretty insane workouts, right? And then hit that again the next day. Well, maybe not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about, I was doing what, like back then I had 20 kilograms strapped to my waist, and I was doing pull-up sets of like 15, 16 kilograms. Okay, so 15, 16 reps.
Reps, yeah.
Right, AMRAP, and then the next set I do one less, right?
Yeah.
And I was doing that
4%.
pretty much like 3-4 times a week. And you saw how insane my back grew.
That's
Okay?
true. Yeah.
And then, like, I was recovering so quickly from these really high intensity workouts. Okay? Like, before that, I could never do that. Okay?
Yeah.
Even now, like, having done that, I struggle to hit those same numbers again. Okay? Then again, I'm not focused on building up my pull-up, but still, okay? Like, I find that I don't recover as quickly nowadays compared to that period.
Yeah. Same.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I think D-aspartic acid can definitely help, okay? But of course, studies are inconclusive.
Yeah.
A lot of studies are inconclusive. And, you know, would I recommend this to someone? I'd say this is kind of one of those things where just to be like, okay, you know, we'll dot all of the I's and really reach for those like higher hanging fruit, okay?
Yeah.
That's when you take D-aspartic acid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's quite cheap. So I'd say, you know, it's worth trying for people and monitoring their bloods, right? Seeing if it actually confers a benefit.
Yeah.
I guess moving on to like two more controversial, okay? Controversial.
Let's go. Yeah.
Controversial. And gray area supplements, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have TB500, okay? Also known as thymosin beta 500.
Yeah.
And BPC 157, so body protection compound 157, okay?
Mm.
And what these two are, they're actually peptides, so meaning they're short chains of amino acids, okay?
Yeah.
Or kind of long chains actually, and they both actually promote the formation of new blood vessels, and the way they do so is by stimulating the production of what is known as VEGF, okay? So it's vascular endothelial growth factor.
Okay.
And that itself will stimulate the formation of new blood vessels. So I myself, okay, I've used it recently for musculoskeletal repair.
We use
I'm
both.
talking about
BBC and
both, yeah.
Okay.
Stacked it. And I've used it basically with a knee kind of quad tendinopathy.
Right.
So I went to a physio first, right? I asked them, you know, can you help me fix this up? We did what they wanted me to do for 2 months. Shit didn't change, okay? Like I reduced my training volume. You know, I increased the amount of eccentrics, loaded eccentrics I was doing at the recommendation of the physio. Did all the the rehab work they wanted me to do, you know, loaded clamshells with a hold, everything, okay?
Yeah.
And it didn't help with the knee, okay? Which was, the physio said that she thought I had a suprapatellar, like, tendinopathy. Meaning that above the knee, okay? That tendon where kind of the quad connects into the knee, that was inflamed, basically.
Okay.
She said, don't stop training. And I thought, okay, sure.
Don't stop
recommend-
training.
Don't stop training, but just like reduce the volume, okay?
Yeah.
And those are all good recommendations until she said I should also use Voltaren, which is like an anti-inflammatory. And as we know, anti-inflammatories are bad for healing unless you have something that's genuinely like chronic inflammation, okay?
Yeah, which hurts.
And so I thought, after doing some research, I'm going to try out this TB500 and BPC 157, okay? To try and just help, you know, with this tendon and ligament injury I have. You know, I read a couple animal studies, right? Which, if I'm honest, right, having worked in, like, what I'm currently doing is I'm a research assistant at a university in conjunction with a pharmaceutical company, well, a gene therapy company, okay? And I kind of, I understand at a relatively deep level how these animal studies work and how to extrapolate data from it. You know, I thought that this BPC 157 and TB 500, based on the animal studies I've read, was relatively safe and seemed to be quite conclusive, okay? Because the mechanism of action of BPC 500 in the animals, okay, was that it attracts kind of fibroblasts, which are these cells in your body that kind of lay down more collagen fibers. They form connective tissue, okay, and they help build up the tissue a bit better, along with increasing the amount of growth hormone receptors on the tendons, right? That's the mechanism of action.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty applicable to humans, okay, and so I thought I'll take it, okay, and I found a relatively reputable source. I took it, okay, because in the UK these things are technically legal for research purposes, and as I was doing research on myself, okay. You know, I wasn't hurting anyone, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it out. I stacked it, okay? I did 200 milligrams, not 200 milligrams, sorry, 0.2 milligrams of BPC 500, okay?
Yeah.
So no, BPC 157.
157, yeah.
And then I did 0.1 milligram of TB 500 daily, okay?
Okay.
And kind of within 1 month's time, the pain was gone, right? So when I initially went to the physio, the kind of knee pain was at about like a 7 to 8 out of 10, right? I'm talking, I woke up in the morning, my knees felt stiff as hell. I got into the gym, and when I tried to get into that squat position, right? Oh my God, that was agony. Like, maybe not agony, but it hurt to the point where I was hesitant to squat.
Right,
okay?
yeah.
I was hesitant to get under the bar, I was hesitant to get into that full range of motion at the bottom of the squat.
Mm-hmm.
After a bit of warm-up, it'd get better until kind of mid-workout, I wouldn't feel it anymore. But now, right, and then after doing everything the physio said, it kind of went down to a 6-7, okay?
Okay.
2 months in, right? 2 months in, I was hoping for some effects. Okay? Whilst taking BPC 157 and TB 500, right?
Yeah.
Within 1 month's time, okay, my knee was pretty much back to feeling normal.
Okay.
Genuinely, like I was talking maybe like a 1 to 2 on the pain scale out of 10, okay?
Yeah.
And I was talking, I could go into the gym, get squatting, no warm up whatsoever. Of course, I warmed up, right? Because I don't want to fuck my knees up. But I'm telling you, that's what I could have done. Okay. And do I think BPC 157 and TB 500 works? I think it's quite conclusive in my kind of anecdotal experience that it does.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is a scarcity of human studies, though. Okay. So what the long-term effects of BPC 157 TB 500 are, we can only extrapolate on its kind of mechanism of action, right? Like if you are prone to having tumor growth, okay, like you have some sort of mutation that means, like genetic mutation that means, okay, you're more likely to form tumors.
Yeah.
And I'd recommend steering the fucking clear of TB 500 and BPC 157, okay? Because tumors thrive on having VEGF, okay?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Vascular,
the vascular thing.
Because what will happen is, like, when you have a clump of tissues, right? If there's a ton of VEGF, there's going to be blood supply to it, and that'll help those cells in the tumor grow faster and faster and faster. So do not fucking take it if you're prone to growing, like, getting tumors, okay?
Yeah.
You know, like, we did that, what was it? Circle DNA thing, and it said that our cancer risk was low. That's the only reason I took it, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Like you have to understand that I took a lot of precautions before jumping on this. Like I read pretty much every study there was, okay, and came to the conclusion. And also, based on my kind of current career, right, I think I'm in a pretty good place to make that distinction as well, okay? Those two definitely work for some sort of tendon repair, because what kind of, the way people distinguish between the two is that BPC heals the tendon part itself, whereas TB 500 heals the interface between the tendon and the muscle, okay? So you know how it is, right? There's a piece of muscle, and then at the end of the muscle is a tendon, and then that tendon inserts into the bone, right?
Yes.
The reason you take it together is because when you get inflammation, it's likely kind of a mix between the two, right? You're not, like, it's never going to be just, well, sometimes it can be just tendon, but for me, because of the positioning of it, the physio thought that's a bit of inflammation of the fascia as well, which is that interface between muscle and tendon. And so I thought both would be best, okay? You know, I've heard of people taking sermorelin along with TB 500 and BPC 157. So as I mentioned just now, right, TB 500 and BPC 157, they can increase the number of growth factor receptors on your tendons and your muscles, okay?
So that's
one mechanism of action. So by adding in sermorelin, what sermorelin is it's a peptide analog, okay? Meaning it's similar to growth hormone releasing hormone, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's like one step before growth hormone.
Yeah. So ultimately, that leads to more growth hormone then.
Yeah, it stimulates that little pituitary gland in your brain to release more growth hormone, okay?
Yeah.
And so kind of if you use the two, people have suggested that it can help with kind of muscle repair, right? And injuries. But I feel like if you aren't like above 40 to 50 years old, I would steer clear of human growth hormone, simply because I just don't, unless you're, I don't know, super short, okay, I wouldn't recommend using growth hormone, okay, just because of the fact that it grows all your tissue. Like any sort of growth hormone increase in your body will lead to growth of every tissue, okay. And like, do you want a bigger face? I'm not sure you want that, right? You know,
look
gut,
at
you know.
Look at Zac Efron, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's just gnarly. Okay, gnarly. It's like fucking Giga Chad, Giga Efron, man.
Yeah, Giga
Efron, dude. But yeah, so I think BPC 157, TB 500. It's one of those things that I wouldn't recommend to people because it's not really researched, but I myself have used. You know.
Yeah, I mean, with what's it called? Sermorelin. Sermorelin. The hell, sounds like some fucking British guy. Sermorelin. Comes out, it's like old as fuck.
Old as fuck.
Yeah. It's like racist as hell as well.
Yeah.
Don't come into my country.
I don't like the Chinese.
the Asians. Yeah. But then, I mean, if it ultimately leads to more growth hormone, in my books, you kind of revoke your natty card.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think. You're definitely
right?
not
like
natty
you're
anymore.
not natural
You're not
anymore.
natty
Yeah.
Like if you take TRT, you're not natural anymore, right?
Yeah.
Arguably, even BPC and 500, you're revoking your natty card. Okay.
Really?
But arguably, because you are enhancing your body's natural performance, right? You're increasing artificially the number of fibroblast numbers. Like I think the distinction between kind of what is natty and what is not natty becomes more blurred as the days go by, because you get more so-called approved supplements that can do whatever, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So BPC and TB, gray area, right? We don't officially recommend any of these supplements. Maybe apart from caffeine, unless you're prone to dependency. We don't officially recommend any of these supplements at the Strength Paradigm. Just don't take them, okay? Dude, that's our official message. Do not take these supplements, okay? Even if we talk about all the benefits of it, do not take them.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah?
Don't be like
co-host would
Don't
agree.
be like the founder.
Don't be like me, okay?
Yeah. That motherfucker, dude.
But yeah, so the next part, I think, out of these three things, if I said you had to take one, you absolutely had to, right? For any sort of recovery, probably BPT 157. Most safe profile, right? It has a very targeted effects only on your tendons, okay? But yeah, that's that.
Okay.
People have used it orally as a way to kind of help with their gut health after a period of taking just gut issues, So what was it? I think some scientists infected a bunch of mice with H. pylori, what you had before.
Yeah.
And then after healing on it, right, their stomach was completely screwed up. Like they couldn't digest food, right? They gave them BPC 157, okay?
Yeah.
And it stimulated healing of the stomach lining, returning of function, and everything.
Oh wait, was that the study that you sent me?
Yeah, that's the study you sent me.
Yeah.
No. Vivi can take it. It'll help with her stomach issues.
Yes. Yeah. It would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on.
Okay. So here are the things. Like, let's move on to the third category we talked about. Right. We've gone through a huge performance enhancement in the gym. Okay. Recovery improvement. Okay. Now let's supplements to improve recovery. Now let's talk about practices that can help improve performance and recovery. So we're talking about practices now. Okay. So you're saying, to define that, we're talking about things you can do that are not eating something or ingesting or drinking something. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So take the floor.
I see that the obvious one is active rest day. I mean, ultimately, what does that entail, right? What, like walking, stretching, doing yoga, foam rolling. I mean,
I think like, here's the thing. Like, let's put foam rolling aside, right?
Yeah, fuck that shit.
What would you? Yeah, I think foam rolling works as a modality to kind of feel better, right? In that, I don't think it confers any sort of specific performance benefit. Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really help with recovery either, in my opinion. Like, I've done it. I don't feel that much better the next day.
Yeah.
But what do you think makes you feel like maybe primes you for performance in the next day? Because for me, right, I'm doing Olympic lifting. My kind of active rest day looks a bit more like going through the ranges of motion that I would the following day. So say I had snatches,
right, okay, yeah,
right,
yeah,
the next day, or clean and jerks, right. What I'd be doing is I'd be, you know, maybe with a broomstick or just like a wooden dowel. I'd just be sat in the bottom of the snatch position, just holding that, you know.
Right.
Just
okay.
to get my body used to that. Okay. But I'm not causing any additional sort of damage to my body. Okay.
Well, I mean that for you specifically, that would be like more beneficial because there's some specificity, and like you have to get used to the movement pattern as well, right? Getting into that position, getting out of it. But for me, because I'm still on a bodybuilding position, like program, I'm not gonna fucking
go through the curl range of motion.
You know, I think for me, best thing I could do is stretching, like
stretching,
and it doesn't even have to be like, you know, the intense like yoga shit, but it's just like, you know, making sure that my posture is like is good in terms of like, you know, my neck, my back. Don't finish the song.
Pussy in your crack.
but like, and my legs, like primarily, like stretching in helps with my recovery a lot more.
So then,
I feel
again,
like
that's kind of going through a range of motion, though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mobility work. In effect, mobility work. That's all it is. You're just going through range of motions to improve that range of motion.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're accustomed to it.
Yeah, but then there are like static stretches most of the time.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, especially when
static stretches though. Go on.
Okay. I mean, especially for my legs, like whenever I do Romanian deadlifts, my hamstrings are fried. Like the next 2 days, they're fucked. Like I can't extend my legs all the way, and that's not even like I'm training too hard. It's because of when I do it, the technique is you feel a stretch every time you go down on the rep. And so I normally just do 2 sets and that's enough for my hamstrings. And on the days, if I don't stretch after the session and the day after, the second day after the leg day, my hamstrings are gone. Like walking is a pain. So I think stretching to me is really important.
So you stretch right after the workout?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think, for me, the issue of static stretching is a couple things, right? Like, being that I already have kind of bad knees, okay?
Yeah.
Like, sure, it's a bit better now with the BPC and the TB500, okay? The issue is when I stretch too much, I find that actually inflames the tendons even more. Because you're putting tension on it.
Yeah.
You're putting tension on it, right?
Yeah.
So that's my only issue with it. I like most people wouldn't have this issue, but I still wouldn't recommend like trying like as a power lifter or a power builder or even an Olympic lifter to try and on purpose like stretch a ton, right? Like as long as you can access comfortably those ranges of motion, that's all you need, right? Like, and again, it's not like the bare minimum. It's like, don't think of this as doing the bare minimum, but think of this as not overdoing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's important. Like, it's a really important distinction to make, right? Like, I found that certain stretches, like a quad stretch, just destroyed my knees. The next day, my soreness would be through the roof, right? You know that sitting down stretch they'd make you do in PE back in like primary school, where you had a box and then you just like reach forward and see how far you can touch.
Oh, for hamstrings.
Yeah, hamstring stretch. That destroyed it. So maybe for you that'd be good. Okay. But then again, I guess it's context dependent. You know?
Yeah.
And I think for me, with kind of accessing ranges of motion, right?
Yeah.
It's more about my warm up than it is about getting stretches in the day beforehand.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but how about for strength sports? Do you think there's a negative correlation between how flexible you are versus your overall strength?
I guess it depends on what strength sport we're talking about, right?
I mean,
if we're talking
powerlifting, weightlifting.
Okay, so we have to separate those two things, right? Because the technical demands of powerlifting and weightlifting are like vastly different, right? Like powerlifting should really be called force lifting, and like weightlifting should really be called powerlifting, okay? Because in weightlifting you generate the most power, okay? Whereas in powerlifting you generate the most force, okay? Like you're lifting as much as you can, but it's less like time is less of a factor.
Yeah.
Okay? And so putting these two things together, right? With weightlifting, flexibility and mobility is key to success. Right?
Okay.
Like if you ask a career powerlifter to try and do an overhead squat, okay, in a snatch position, I'd say 99% of them would not be able to do so. Okay, even if they did mobility work. Okay.
Okay.
And the reason is because they can't get their arms in that position, right? We're talking about a very specific position where your arms are overhead, okay? And your head is like in front, right? You know, that's what you're talking about. They don't have that chest flexibility, okay? They don't have that thoracic flexibility either, okay? And they can't even get into the bottom of the squat position properly.
Yeah.
Okay? So again, it's context depending, right? Whether flexibility has a bearing on strength, let's say a weightlifter versus a powerlifter, okay? I don't believe because the powerlifter is more flexible and more mobile that they're weaker than a powerlifter, okay? Because it's all about training in a specific range of motion, okay? So say a weightlifter was to suddenly switch to a low bar squat at the same like competition regulated depth as a powerlifter, okay?
Yeah.
Where they only break parallel, okay? I would say they probably have the same amount of strength. You know, let's say a top level powerlifter and a top level weightlifter. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But then if you to ask the powerlifter to suddenly drop to like ass to grass, like proper ass to grass high bar squat the way a weightlifter does, right?
Yeah.
Now you're training a completely different movement, right? So I don't think flexibility is the issue. I think it's training a specific range of motion. And a specific movement pattern, right? Like Greg Everett, right? The guy who runs Catalyst Athletics, okay? Probably one of the most revered weightlifting coaches ever.
Yeah.
He preaches this kind of hierarchy of training, right? So it is positioning, movement, okay, and then it's speed and then load. I think those are the four things, okay?
Okay.
And I think that rings true in this context, especially in this context, because if you don't practice specific movement at a specific load, right, you won't be able to do that. You know?
Yeah.
So then it's always dependent on context. You know, it's hard to answer a question like that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I think you'd agree.
I agree.
Okay, so
yeah.
moving on to the next kind of practice to help improve performance and recovery. Okay, one of the incels' most favorite things to do. Okay, or kind of I'd say the first step of every modern man's journey to self-improvement. Okay, no fab. Okay, no fab. Do you think it helps with performance and recovery? In your opinion, performance or recovery?
Short answer, no. Not at all. Long answer. I mean, I think if there is any benefit, again, comes from the mental side. It's like the same thing, I think, as just being like pissed off that day. Maybe because you're pissed off because you're being an incel, but like, you know.
Oh, I hate women.
But you know, like, it's. I guess you feel more driven because you know you haven't fucking let loose.
Yeah.
In terms of like the scientific like backing behind it, whether it increases testosterone or not, there are some studies that say that after a week of nofap that you see some elevated levels of tests.
It's not nofap though. It's no busted.
Oh yeah, no busting. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that
But they
kind of
kind of go hand in hand.
semen retention, as they call it.
Yeah.
Self-help space.
Yeah, semen retention.
Yeah.
It's marginal though. Like the test levels that do increase, but like does it really help? Not, don't think so. Not as much as D-aspartic acid.
Yeah, D-aspartic acid, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start selling D-aspartic acid, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be fucking. Yeah. We'll get sponsored by like.
No, here's what we'll do. We'll take turkesterone, bind it to D-aspartic acid, turkspartic acid, man.
Yin yang pill.
Yeah, man. No, it's not a yin yang pill, bro. It's just a black pill, man. It's just a black pill.
Yeah, okay.
Oh shit, black pill.
Damn, son.
No, but I think what D-aspartic acid definitely. But back to kind of no-fap and kind of semen retention.
Yeah, I mean,
have you had any experience with it? Just like going 7
yes,
days.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I went for like 3 months.
But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. So you know the study, right? That talked about 7 days. Okay. On average, the prisoners I don't know if it was prisoners, but it was like
the subjects,
the Chinese subjects. Okay, they were Chinese dudes. Okay, that's why I think they're prisoners.
Okay.
The Chinese dudes went 7 days. Okay, and then beyond. Right, that's not when the study ended. Okay, 7 days. Okay, and they saw the peak in testosterone on the 7th day, but afterwards it went back down. So do you think that if you, let's say, went 7 days, released, then went 7 days, then released in 7 days, and you saw those waves in testosterone, right? Do you think that would have led to a better outcome than had you just gone 3 months, like just, I'm a monk, you know?
I think actually, yes, that would be. But then on the mental side, it would be difficult. Because the 3 months was easy because after like some time you just forget about it.
No, but that's the issue though, right?
Yeah. I think
isn't that what you want though? You want to be pent, you know?
Yeah. For my lifestyle back then.
Yeah.
You know, I was a student and living in fucking dorms, and I couldn't even like. I couldn't even if I had No, I had a fucking roommate who was in the room the whole time.
These people don't even know I bench press 140. Just like crunching up your Diet Coke, like just.
That's my protein shake, dude. I don't drink it part.
Oh shit! You're the guy who drinks a protein shake with your shaker bottle, and you crunch your shaker bottle. So alpha.
No, but yeah, like it just didn't help like fit with my lifestyle. I think back then.
Fair enough.
And so 3 months mentally was easier. Whether it had any effect on the gym, not really. The study confers with that as well. Like, you know, testosterone levels go back down.
So do you think going monk mode, okay, like let's kind of move on to just straight semen retention, right?
Yeah,
there are people out there who are like, I'm not gonna bust no matter what. You know, Captain Sinbad, right? He, like the guy on YouTube, he's a huge proponent of it. He's like, oh, I've gone fucking I've gone Nikhil here. I've gone 90 days without busting. And it's like,
okay, yeah. Their goal is different from our goal then. Like, they say
but they're still trying to do it for productivity though.
Yes, yeah. But then there's also like, you know, that spiritual element of like, oh, I've surpassed my bodily pleasures. I want something more. I don't want material body stuff.
No, but do you think that can help with performance in the gym though? Like,
no.
Having... Okay, fair enough.
No,
yeah,
I don't think so. I think like it's a completely different like philosophy that you have towards, I guess, your life, right? In the gym, it's all about, you know, you improving your body, you feeling good about improving your body, you feeling good about like the physical aspect of it.
Yeah.
They're thinking more like spiritual, you know.
Fair, yeah.
So I think the goals don't really overlap that much.
Okay.
And I think it's just it's a waste of time. Like if you want to feel good, like get a girl.
No, but here's the thing, right? Like, let's say, have you watched Mike Israetel's video on whether sex kills gains?
No, I haven't.
In a nutshell, what he says is it doesn't, okay? But
Right.
under circumstance, it does. Right? Let's say you had a massive workout tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And tonight, let's say your girlfriend came, visited you, you all decided to have like 4 hours of vigorous fun, okay?
Mm.
The next day, you're not going to feel your legs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you had a squat workout, like there's been many instances where it's like, I ignored the fact that I had a squat workout, did what I wanted to do, and then the next day my workout suffered. Like I was supposed to do, let's say, 160, okay, for like 5,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
But I could only hit 140 for like 4 at an RPE 10 because of that, right? So then I think if you're thinking that, I don't think it's mental. I think it's genuinely a performance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. But
impediment
you
for
gotta
that.
program your sex life, dude.
I like that.
You gotta
As DJ
know
Khaled says,
which
"I like
days.
that."
You gotta know which days you're on top, which days you want to be on bottom, so you can just like, the next day when you're on the bottom, you can hit a hard workout.
Here's the thing, bro. I'm not a bottom bitch.
Well, then too bad then.
Hey, fair enough, man. But yeah, so I guess kind of no-fap semen retention, right? I think it can work, right, as a performance enhancement, less of a recovery kind of element, but more of a performance enhancement. I guess to a certain extent recovery, okay, if we're talking about semen retention and you're abstaining from vigorous sex, okay?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
no-fap, maybe once every 7 days you can, because I like, if we're going back to Jerome's like 3-month instance of going monk mode, right? He didn't see any sort of benefit from that. You said you had no urges, right? That like
Yeah.
anger, that angry pent up feeling
It
was
just
gone.
dissipated, yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, if you stacked D-aspartic acid with no fap 7 days, okay,
Yeah.
and pulled that over a long time span, right? Like, what sort of benefit would we be seeing then? I guess it's an experiment for us to try. Maybe
That would
a
be,
little
yeah.
idea there, a little
Yeah.
video idea there.
Another video,
So,
yeah.
Okay, next, I guess last thing I want to talk about is breath
Yeah.
work.
Okay.
Breath work.
Okay.
You know Wim Hof?
No, I don't. What is that?
So Wim Hof is this old ass dude, okay, who got famous for one thing and one thing only:
Yeah.
breathing. Actually, no, 2 things: breathing in a very specific way.
Motherfucker invented breathing.
Yeah, man. Breathing in a very specific way.
Okay.
And then after breathing in this very specific way, jumping into an ice bath. That's like all he did. And he promotes that as a way to like improve your life holistically, feel better and whatnot, okay?
Right, yeah.
So I think we have to look at these 2 things separately. We can't say ice baths and kind of
And
breathing Wim
yeah.
Hof style is the same. Wait 1 second, I need to take a piss real quick. Back in a moment.
Okay. Wait, same, dude. Hold on. While we're waiting, here's a little song for you guys. Oh, shit.
No song, motherfucker.
What? I can't hear you, dude.
You can't hear me. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
But yeah, back to
Wim
Wim
Hof.
Hof. So this motherfucker, what he does is he says that his method of breathing allows you to oxygenate your blood better. Okay? And
Okay.
if you go on YouTube and search Wim Hof breathing, you'll find like
Yeah.
a bunch of videos where it's basically a guided breathwork session. And it's kind of 5 to 10 minutes where you just sat there with your, you can be lying down or like legs crossed or whatever, and you're just hyperventilating yourself. Just like that, just for like 5 minutes, okay? And
Yeah.
eventually you get
Don't
to this
divers do that shit to
point-
like
yeah, kind of.
actually help with their like
Like
their
free
breath
divers.
work?
Free divers, yeah. So
Yeah,
people who
yeah.
don't use any equipment, they literally just dive with nothing. They do that in order to
Yeah.
oxygenate their blood, right? And like
Mhm,
people who
mhm.
teach themselves to hold their breath for a long time do that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like he does that, and apparently it helps with all sorts of things, like chronic pain, it helps with healing and everything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I think whether breath work helps with recovery in the gym, okay, and performance, I'm not so sure. Maybe if you have a very kind of high rep set, okay, and you do
Yeah.
it right before the set, okay, oxygenating your blood a bit more, okay, you can possibly eke out a bit more from that, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't think so, because you're not holding your fucking breath during the set. You know what I mean?
Again, I think it's like the marginal effects. Like, I guess maybe it helps with
marginal
like
effects add up though over time. You know, if you do these
yeah.
things many times over many years.
But then is it? Yeah, but is it worth it? Like, taking 2 minutes out and just.
I mean, if you're between sets and you're just resting, let's say like an average person's rest period is 2 minutes, right?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I think that might be a funny thing to see though. Actually, maybe we can do a video about that. You know, just like
Wim Hof experiment.
Wim Hof workout. You know, just like German volume training squats 10 times 10, but Wim Hof between every set.
I mean, scientifically, I think like it will help with breakdown of lactic acid, right?
No, it won't though. Oxygen. I mean, yeah, I guess it will. It will help with that.
Yeah.
But only pretty acutely, because how much oxygen can you realistically pack into your blood cells?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Probably one squat and you're already depleted, you know?
Marginal. Yeah. That's what
It's like one squat. Oh shit, I'm passing out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe with like aerobic exercise, aerobic activity.
Yeah, but then even then, right?
Then
it's still like not exactly.
Nah, yeah. Because you only do it in the beginning.
Okay, what about the other part of the Wim Hof method? Jumping into an ice bath. Because the reason he does the breath work before jumping into the ice bath is because he thinks by oxygenating your blood, right, you're able to create more energy, and as such, when you jump into the ice bath, you can elevate your body temperature faster.
Wait.
So you
elevate your body
temperature
by jumping into an ice bath.
No. You do the breath work first to oxygenate your blood.
Yeah.
By oxygenating your blood, you can make energy faster, right?
In effect. Yeah.
And so when you jump into an ice bath, that energy is so-called released, and you can elevate your body temperature faster. So some people report when they jump into an ice bath after the Wim Hof method, they actually feel warm rather than cold.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
So let's forget about the initial breathing bit, but talk about the ice bath.
Yeah, ice bath.
Ice baths are all the fucking rage these days, right? There's these kind of portable ice baths that everyone uses. Do you think in the context of power building, it is beneficial?
Yeah, sure. I think like after a hard session at the gym, and then you take a shower, and then you hit like an ice bath. I think yes, because more blood flow.
No, but then ice baths do the opposite of that. I think ice baths, right? They reduce blood flow. They cause vascular constriction.
Vascular, yeah. But then after.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that makes sense. But then, like, kind of on that note, right? Because ice baths have been known to actually reduce inflammation, which can then actually impede recovery. Okay. There's another practice called contrast baths or contrast exposure, where you jump into an ice bath, then right afterwards you jump into a jacuzzi, like a warm, hot jacuzzi. Then you jump back into an ice bath and you do that like a couple rounds. Okay.
That sounds like a torture method, man.
That's some real rich people shit, man.
Gee, yeah. Okay.
So I have never done that, like jumping into an ice bath.
Like, what's the thinking behind alternating?
So alternating is
temperature.
Because you potentiate the benefits of both conditions. Okay.
Right.
By going into an ice bath first, right? You get all the kind of anti-inflammatory things, so-called anti-inflammatory benefits, and then jumping into heat afterwards, right? What you get is
the added your body blood flow.
Yeah, exactly. Improve blood flow to your whole body and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do that a couple times. And moreover, I think it's more about the mental benefit as well, because heat compress and cold compress helps with pain management. Okay, so by doing both things, right, you're helping manage your pain, soreness, okay, and you're also helping to a certain extent with the recovery. And I think that's what I think contrast exposure is better than just ice bath, in my opinion. Like, I've tried both.
Okay.
In kind of the shower, not like baths.
Yeah.
Shower, like just turn it up and then turn it all the way down in terms of temperature. Cool. So I think, let's sum up our key takeaways, okay, that we discussed today.
So you missed out icing your balls, man.
Oh shit, icing your balls, okay? So icing your balls. Sorry, this is the last thing we wanted to talk about. I forgot about this. So, icing your balls. Okay, something that I heard about first when More Plates, More Dates did a podcast with Vigorous Steve and Leo Longevity. Rest in peace. Okay, and kind of the idea behind that is there was a couple of papers where cold exposure to the testes improves sperm motility. Okay, and kind of sperm maturation. Right. So it helps your sperm, with whatever, okay? And the extrapolation beyond that is because it helps your testes produce more sperm, it should also help your testes produce more testosterone, okay? That's kind of the extrapolated data from that. Now, in my throes of desperation, when I was kind of like, I need to do everything to increase my testosterone, okay?
Yeah.
I tried it out for a period of about 4 weeks, okay? Before every gym session for 30 minutes, okay, I would sit with an ice pack underneath my testicles, okay? I had a little Ziploc bag, okay, that was labeled ice pack for balls, okay? And I was just in my fridge in my dorm room, okay? And I'd do that. Now, anecdotally, I don't think it works. I genuinely don't think it works. I think it's probably the stupidest thing you could possibly do. Like, it's such a waste of time. It's uncomfortable. You leave with a wet spot on your pants where your balls are. It looks like you pissed yourself, It's genuinely not a great thing to do.
Why the fuck did you even do it in the first place?
Just because I wanted to see if I can improve my testosterone by doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, just on the base, I don't know, your knowledge of science.
Desperation, man. Pseudoscience.
Dude, I mean, our balls have a smart skin for a reason, dude. That's to get that optimal temperature.
Yeah, man.
Of sperm production. You're
if you
flash freezing your balls.
What I'm saying is, it's let's say hypothetically this was correct, right? And you could get a little marginal 1% benefit, right, of testosterone. Maybe acutely you don't feel that huge boost in performance, but maybe 1% testosterone leads to 0.1% gain in performance at the gym, right? And then over time, those percentages just compound and add up,
That was your thinking?
Yeah, that was my thinking. I was reading a lot of Warren Buffett at the time. What was it? The Intelligent Investor. And they're talking about how, compound interest builds up over time and you can become a billionaire at 50 if you just put 10 pounds away or something like that. Of course, I was an idiot. I know it doesn't actually work, but I was 18 at the time, man.
Fair enough. I mean, even just putting it on there and then knowing that your balls have shrank because it's it's way too damn cold.
Yeah, man. No, I'd wrap in a
I need to
wet
get
towel.
closer.
Yeah.
Oh my days.
But then, if you think about it, right? Cold showers confer some benefit, Why?
Yeah, but not for your balls. Not for your balls. Ice baths, they're not for your balls. That's not the main.
Your balls are in it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
your balls
true.
are in there.
Then maybe you get slight benefit if it does work, but
Nah, I think out of everything I've done, that's probably the dumbest thing I've done. It's because it was just too much hassle. Okay, you'd have to change pants afterwards because your underwear got wet. Okay, you'd have to get an ice pack specifically for the balls. Okay, once you've used that ice pack for your balls, you can't use it for anything, okay? I mean, unless you want to use it for something else, okay? But I didn't. I threw it away afterwards. And that was an expensive 4-week experience. Not too expensive. It was £7, okay? But still, it's just not worth it. I don't recommend anyone to ice their balls unless you want to conceive children and you have an issue with sperm motility, okay? In that case, by all means, okay?
I don't.
No, if you want to have children, really? And you want,
I don't think it works.
There is a paper that definitely says that it helps with sperm maturation and sperm motility. You can look it up. Throw it on the screen right now. Throw it on the screen. Throw it on the screen. Yeah. Okay, so that's some of our key takeaways. From the podcast. Okay, so we went through kind of 3 categories of performance enhancement, right? Let's talk about the kind of initial sort of acute performance enhancement in the gym, right? We're talking stimulants, really. Nootropics, right? So what we started first was beta-alanine. We think, that's a yes, right? Beta-alanine at relatively high doses definitely works. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, in the gym at least. Maybe not when you're trying to do a boxing match because of a lot of other confounding, you know, parameters, like, you know, maybe just very stressed and cortisol is super high. Okay, but it definitely works. Okay?
Yeah.
Beta alanine, we recommend it. Let's say what, like 10 to 20 grams. Experiment with it. You know, you'll feel the tingles initially. It might not be the most comfortable, but we think it works, and we have tried it, and it works as well. Second thing, caffeine. Right, you're pretty bog standard. Make sure you control your intake. Okay. If you're gonna have caffeine daily, limit that at about 100 milligrams, you know, or less. Okay, maybe on a 1 to 2 times a week basis, you can push it up a little bit more. You know, 400 milligrams, the top of the recommended limit, right? If you're trying to really augment your performance in the gym, say you've got a heavy day or like a max out Friday or whatever, then by all means do it. But do not rely on caffeine as a means to wake you up in the morning. Okay, you know, it is definitely something that you should, as Andrew Huberman says, take 90 minutes after you wake up. Okay, in fact, I actually take it at about 1 o'clock. Okay, it's just so that because I feel like in the morning, once I get over that initial slump, right, put a bit of cold water on my face. Okay, I get over that initial slump, I can pretty much feel pretty good. I feel like actually pretty good. Just drink a ton of water. Okay, do I believe in the fucking electrolyte element that people are pushing?
Yeah,
I take element supplements and it makes me feel great in the morning because your caffeine system doesn't even work. No, I think sure, you know, maybe there's some science behind it, but I've tried just taking like one of those normal electrolyte pills that you get for like running.
Yeah.
I don't feel any different, man. If anything, I think the kind of magnesium, high levels of magnesium and kind of sodium in those pills actually just makes me feel a bit kind of puffy in the morning as well. So I just drink straight water, and that's fine.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of it. You know, keep it simple, stupid, right? And then maybe at 1 o'clock, have a little bit of coffee, stretch that out. You know, if you really need that caffeine intake. Nicotine and yohimbine, I'd say we recommend staying away from them as a means to kind of performance enhance yourself at the gym, especially nicotine, because it has very addictive qualities. You know. And realistically, it doesn't really confer that much of a benefit in the gym, even with people that try to use high doses of it to confer some sort of benefit. Yohimbine, really, if you're trying to boost fat loss at the end of a dedicated cut, you know, trying to reach those single-digit body fats, then sure, start it, okay? But I'd say until you reach maybe 13-12% body fat, diet and cardio will help. You know, diet and cardio will be sufficient, you know. Now next, supplements to boost recovery, right? We talked about sermorelin, okay, TB500 and BPC157. We do not recommend any of these. These are all, apart from sermorelin, unless you can get that from a reputable, like, rejuvenation doctor or whatever, by prescription. Don't take any of these peptides, okay? And make sure you do it in a place where it's lawful to do so, like I did, okay? And take it under the supervision of a doctor, okay, someone who knows what they're doing. Make sure to get your bloods done just to make sure you're not screwing yourself up long term. And then lastly, in terms of practices to help improve performance and recovery, right? We talked about semen retention, icing your balls, breath work, active rest days. I'd say active rest days is definitely at the top of that list, right? Yeah. And then I'd say kind of nofap. Go on.
I mean, yeah, with semen retention, we still need to see the results.
Yeah, we'll do a video of that.
Of our experiment.
Yeah. And then we'll come back with that. Breath work, I'd say it's a bit of a pseudoscience, you know, we'll see. Contrast baths though, contrast showers, contrast exposure, I think there is some validity to it. You know, I think it definitely helps in mediating kind of any sort of soreness, and it helps maybe not boost recovery, but you definitely feel better afterwards, and I'd say my performance has never suffered because of it. Okay? But yeah, anything you want to add to that?
No, really. I mean, at the end of the day, just focus on more of the fundamentals. Like, get your sleep in. I think a lot of people take that shit for granted. They don't prioritize it. So, if you actually really want to, you know, get your recovery in check, sleep. Make sure you fucking sleep.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the main takeaway.
That kind of harkens back to the fact that these are all just supplements, right? These are things that you do to eke out that additional 1 to 2% gain of performance, right? The lowest hanging fruit, as Jaron said, is sleep, right? Along with good nutrition, you know, getting your macros and your micros in. Okay, those two are very important, right? And I guess lastly is just making sure you're not constantly stressed all the time, right? Stress management. If your cortisol is high all the fucking time, you won't recover properly, you know? We can do a future episode, you know, talking more about, I guess, sleep and what we do to optimize it.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure, yeah.
Less about, I guess, the kind of scientifically recommended things, but more kind of anecdotally recommended things, you know? Because I think science only goes so far. You know, there's a temporal aspect of science where it just becomes slowly less relevant, you know? But yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, I guess we can say, you know, thank you for tuning in to the Strength Paradigm with Jaron and Josh. And so to stay up to date with everything we're doing, follow our Instagram at Paradigm Strength Systems. And for more information, we have a blog on our website in the description below. Remember, stronger bodies equal stronger minds, which equals stronger lives. And so we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast. Jingle.
See ya.